Baby Logic, Part 5, Fallacies. What is a fallacy? A fallacy can refer to two situations. In one instance, we can simply call it a mistaken reasoning. Another more precise definition is that a fallacy is an argument in which the reason or reasons advanced for a claim fail to warrant acceptance of that claim. It needs to be emphasized that everyone makes use of fallacious reasoning from time to time. Everyone. Professional philosophers, scientists, academics, especially politicians, regular folks, etc. But in learning logic, we can minimize our use of fallacies, which is why philosophers, scientists, and academics employ fewer fallacies than most. Equally important, there are a great many fallacies one could make. So, we will not be going over every type of fallacy, just the more common ones. Furthermore, wherever one fallacy is detected, it can usually be construed as another type of fallacy. It's just a matter of which fallacy is more pervasive. So let's get on with it. The genetic fallacy. One commits the genetic fallacy by arguing that a claim is false or true solely because of its origin. Example: Russell's idea about tax hikes for the middle class came to him in a dream, so it must be bunk. Quick note about this fallacy, relatedly, Crick of Watson and Crick, the guys who discovered the structure of DNA, the double helical structure, is said to have taken LSD and saw the structure of DNA. So that's just kind of sort of an idea how this shows these fallacies don't pay off or work or are true in a meaningful sense. Fallacy of composition. One commits the fallacy of composition by arguing that what is true of the parts must be true of the whole. For example, the universe is spherical in form because all the constituent parts of the universe, that is, the sun, moon, and the planets, appear in this form. Nicholas Copernicus. It should also be emphasized that stereotypes are a species of this type of fallacy. Fallacy of division. One commits the fallacy of division by arguing that what is true of the whole must be true of its parts, or what is true of the group must be true of the individuals in the group. Example: University students study every conceivable subject, so that university student over there also studies every conceivable subject. Ad hominem fallacy. Ad hominem is Latin for to the person. This fallacy is also called appeal to the person and is committed when one rejects a claim by criticizing the person who makes it rather than the claim itself. Example: You can't believe anything Morris says about welfare reform. He's a bleeding heart liberal. Fallacy of equivocation. The fallacy of equivocation is committed when one uses a word in two different senses in an argument. Example: Only man is rational. No woman is a man. Therefore, no woman is rational. Man in the first premise is used to refer to humankind in general, and in the second premise, man is used to refer to biological sex or gender. Appeal to popularity. One commits the appeal to popularity by arguing that a claim must be true merely because a substantial number of people believe it. Example: The Inquisition must have been justified and beneficial. If whole peoples invoked and defended it, if men of the loftiest souls founded and created it severally and impartially, and its very adversaries applied it on their own account, pyre answering to pyre. Benedetto Croce, Philosophy of the Practical. Appeal to tradition. Logically speaking, one does not prove a claim or prove a practice is legitimate on the basis of tradition. When one tries to do so, they are guilty of argument from tradition. Example: acupuncture has been used for 1,000 years in China, so it must work. Appeal to ignorance. One commits this fallacy by arguing that a lack of evidence proves something. Example: it's clear that God exists because science hasn't proved that he doesn't exist. Appeal to emotion. One commits this fallacy by using emotions as one of its premises in an argument. Mr. Scrooge, I certainly deserve a raise in pay. I can hardly manage to feed my children on what you have been paying me, and my youngest child, Tim, needs an operation if he is ever to walk without crutches. Red herring. One commits the red herring fallacy when they, deliberately, raise an irrelevant issue during an argument. It is so called because dragging a herring across a trail will cause a dog to leave the original trail and follow the path of the herring. Example: the legislators should vote for the 3 strikes and you're out crime control measure. I'm telling you, crime is a terrible thing when it happens to you. It causes death, pain, and fear, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. The thesis of this argument states that legislators should vote for a particular bill, but the premises reasons advanced for this claim are all about how much crime sucks for people, which isn't about the bill at all. Also, forgive my typo. Strawman. One commits the strawman fallacy when they distort, weaken, or oversimplify someone else's position so that it can be more easily attacked and refuted. Example: Democrats support the DREAM Act. I guess they just want to let all the terrorists into our country. Begging the question. A quick personal note about the phrase begging the question. It is a technical term in academia, but especially in philosophy and logic. It grates my nerves when I hear news pundits and people use it trying to sound smart when they say, "Well, that begs the question," when really they mean something like, "that raises the question." Begging the question is the fallacy that occurs in 2 ways. First, when we ask our audience to accept premises that are as controversial as a conclusion we're arguing for and that are controversial on the same grounds. And second, when we assume the conclusion in our premises. Begging the question can also be called circular reasoning. Example: all of us cannot be famous because all of us cannot be well known. Jesse Jackson. Affirming the consequent. Affirming the consequent is perhaps one of the most common fallacies made because it has a seemingly logical form. In fact, logically speaking, it even allows for the possibility for it to have true premises and a true conclusion. Even though it allows for the possibility of having true premises with a true conclusion, this argument form is invalid and not sound. Soundness occurs when an argument is valid and it has true premises with a true conclusion. Affirming the consequent allows for the possibility of having true premises with a false conclusion. Let us take a look at the form of affirming the consequent. If P, then Q. Q, hence P. Example: if you smoke cigarettes, then you will develop lung cancer. You have developed lung cancer, thus you smoked cigarettes. There are a great many more fallacies, but I think knowing these should help you develop critiques against arguments of others while also minimizing your own use of them. Thank you.